Robert Mitchell stood in his corner office on the 47th floor watching the city lights flicker to life below. 9 months had passed since the divorce papers were signed. 9 months since he had watched Caroline walk out of his life carrying nothing but a small suitcase in her dignity. He had built an empire. Mitchell Enterprises was worth billions. But standing there in that moment he realized that all his success felt hollow without her. His phone rang, breaking the silence. The number was unfamiliar. "Mr. Mitchell," a woman's voice asked. It wasn't Caroline, but there was something urgent in her tone. "Yes, this is Robert Mitchell. My name is Natasha Chen. I'm a nurse at St. Mary's Hospital. I'm calling on behalf of Caroline Hayes, or I suppose she goes by her maiden name now. She listed you as an emergency contact." Robert's heart stopped. "Is she all right? What happened?" "She's fine, Mr. Mitchell. She gave birth to a healthy baby girl about 2 hours ago. Both mother and daughter are doing well." The words hit him like a physical blow. Baby girl. Caroline had been pregnant. She had been carrying their child and never told him. I'll be right there," he managed to say. The drive to the hospital passed in a blur. His mind raced back through the final months of their marriage. How had he not noticed? But he knew the answer. He had been too consumed with mergers and acquisitions and board meetings. Too busy building his fortune to see what he was losing. They had met 25 years ago at a charity fundraiser. Caroline was a kindergarten teacher who volunteered on weekends. She wore a simple blue dress and had the warmest smile he had ever seen. While everyone else at the event wanted to talk about money and investments, Caroline talked about her students and their dreams. He fell in love with her that very night. Their marriage had been happy for many years. She supported him as he built his company from nothing. She never complained when he worked late or traveled for weeks at a time. She simply loved him with a quiet, steady devotion that he had taken for granted. But somewhere along the way he had forgotten what mattered. The business grew and so did the distance between them. Caroline started eating dinner alone. She stopped sharing stories about her day because he was too distracted to listen. When she mentioned wanting to start a family, he said they should wait until the next merger was complete. There was always something more important. Until the day she asked for a divorce. "I feel like I'm invisible, Robert," she had said with tears in her eyes. "I've loved you with everything I have, but I can't keep living with someone who doesn't see me anymore." He had been stunned, angry even. How could she leave when he had given her everything? A mansion, designer clothes, anything money could buy, but money wasn't what she needed. Now standing outside her hospital room, Robert felt a fear deeper than anything he had experienced in the boardroom. He raised his hand to knock but hesitated. What would he say? What right did he have to be here? He knocked softly. "Come in," Caroline's voice called out, tired but gentle. Robert pushed the door open and there she was. Caroline looked exhausted but beautiful in a way that made his chest ache. Her hair was pulled back and her face was bare of makeup. In her arms, wrapped in a pink blanket, was the tiniest baby he had ever seen. Caroline's eyes widened when she saw him. "Robert, I didn't think they would call you. You listed me as your emergency contact," he said quietly, stepping into the room. "Caroline, why didn't you tell me?" She looked down at the baby in her arms. "I found out I was pregnant 2 weeks after the divorce was finalized. I wanted to tell you, Robert. I picked up the phone 100 times. But every time I remembered how we ended. You were so focused on your business. When I tried to talk about starting a family, you always said later. Always later. I couldn't bear the thought of you seeing our baby as an obligation." Robert felt tears burning in his eyes. May I see her?" Caroline nodded and carefully Robert approached. He looked down at his daughter and felt his entire world shift. She had Caroline's nose and a tiny tuft of dark hair. Her little fingers curled and uncurled as she slept. "She's perfect," he whispered. "Her name is Emma," Caroline said softly. "Emma Rose. Emma Rose," Robert repeated. "Caroline, I've been such a fool. The biggest fool in the world." "Robert, you don't have to. Please let me say this," he interrupted gently. "For 9 months I've been lost. I thought I needed the business. I thought success was measured in dollars and deals. But I was wrong. Every morning I wake up in that empty house and realize that I had everything that mattered and I let it slip away. You are the best thing that ever happened to me and I was too blind to see it." Caroline's eyes filled with tears. "Why are you saying this now?" "Because it's the truth. Because I've spent 9 months learning what really matters in life. I've been seeing a therapist. Trying to understand how I became someone I don't recognize. Someone who valued a corporate merger more than dinner with his wife. Someone who was too busy to listen when you talked about your day. He pulled up a chair and sat beside her bed. I'm not asking you to take me back, Caroline. I know I need to earn that and it might take years. Maybe it will never happen. But I want to be a father to Emma. I want to be there for both of you in whatever way you'll allow. Not because of obligation but because you two are my family. The only family that matters. Caroline was crying now. I never stopped loving you, Robert. That was the hardest part. Walking away from someone I loved because staying was breaking my heart. I never stopped loving you either, Robert said, reaching out to gently touch Emma's tiny hand. I just forgot how to show it. But I want to learn again. I want to be the man you fell in love with. The man who talked with you for hours at that charity fundraiser. The man who promised to cherish you. Emma stirred in Caroline's arms, making a small sound. Both parents looked down at her in wonder. She has your eyes, Caroline said softly. And your strength, Robert replied. Caroline, I know this won't be easy. I know trust has to be rebuilt. But I'm not the same man I was 9 months ago. I've stepped back from the company. Hired people I trust to run the day-to-day operations. Because I finally understand that no amount of money is worth losing the people you love. Caroline looked at him for a long moment, studying his face. What are you saying, Robert? I'm saying that I want to be here. For midnight feedings and diaper changes and first steps. For all of it, I want to be a real father, and if you'll let me, I want to try to be a real husband again too. Not the distracted workaholic you divorced, but the man I should have been all along. That's going to take time, Caroline said carefully. I have time, Robert replied. All the time in the world. I'll wait as long as it takes. I'll prove to you every single day that I've changed. Emma chose that moment to open her eyes. They were gray-blue and unfocused, but when Robert leaned closer she seemed to look right at him. Something in his heart cracked open. Hello, Emma, he whispered. I'm your daddy, and I promise you that I'm going to be here. I'm going to read you bedtime stories and teach you to ride a bike and embarrass you at your high school graduation. I'm going to love you and your mother with everything I have. Caroline reached out and took his hand. Maybe we could start with baby steps. You could visit, get to know Emma. We could have dinner sometimes and talk. I'd like that, Robert said, squeezing her hand gently. I'd like that very much. Over the next few weeks Robert proved his commitment. He showed up at Caroline's apartment every day, bringing groceries and baby supplies. He learned how to change diapers and warm bottles. He paced the floor with Emma when she cried in the middle of the night. And he talked with Caroline. Really talked. He listened to her stories about her students. He asked about her dreams. He shared his own fears and failures. Slowly they began to remember why they had fallen in love in the first place. 3 months after Emma's birth, Caroline invited Robert to stay for dinner. As they sat together watching their daughter sleep in her bassinet, Caroline said, I've been thinking. About what? Robert asked. About second chances. About how rare it is to get one. Most people don't change, Robert. But you have. I've watched you become the man I always knew you could be. Caroline, I'm not saying we should rush anything, she continued. But maybe we could try dating again. See where it leads. Robert felt hope bloom in his chest. I would love that. I promise I'll court you properly this time. Flowers and candlelight dinners and long walks where I actually listen. Caroline smiled, that warm smile he had fallen in love with so many years ago. That sounds perfect. As Robert drove home that night he felt a peace he hadn't experienced in years. He had almost lost everything that mattered. But life had given him a precious gift. A second chance, a daughter, and the possibility of rebuilding a love he should never have let fade. Sometimes the greatest success wasn't measured in billions but in the quiet moments. A baby's laugh, a hand held across a table, the chance to become the person you were always meant to be. Robert Mitchell had finally learned what truly mattered, and he would spend the rest of his life making sure Caroline and Emma knew how much they were loved.